It's going to be Clarence Joseph taking on Stefan Härtel for the German Eagles.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our first fighter to the ring, representing the German Eagles, Stefan Härtel.
Okay, Härtel's 25 years old. Last year he fought for the Leipzig Leopards, which were revamped this season when the German Federation came on. He started with an impressive win this year of an American, William Williams, who we just fought weeks ago. This year he's had one against one of the best middleweights in the WSB. I mean, William McLaughlin, who fights for the Italian team, is the reigning Irish national champion, has a record of 6-1, and Härtel had to start out this year against that guy. And he put up a pretty good show, but he was outclassed in that fight. Quarterfinalist, by the way, in the London Olympics this year, and is a two-time German national champion.
And now, let's welcome his opponent from your USA Knockouts, Clarence Joseph.
Clarence Joseph has come a long way. And if we're going to do some history here, he's from St. Croix, a name that comes to mind, Livingstone Bramble, who fought here in Reno against Boom Boom Mancini.
That's correct, yes.
Won the title. He didn't win the title against Boom Boom Mancini. It was in Buffalo, but they had a rematch here in 1985 in Reno. I'm sure you Reno historians know all about that fight.
That's right, and he spent some time living here in Nevada as well.
And he wants to follow in the footsteps of the great Livingstone Bramble from St. Croix, Virgin Islands. And here's a young man, he tried to make the Olympic team a couple of times, but now he says he's just trying to make his way in the professional ranks. His nickname is the Shaka. So let's see if we can shock some people tonight and pull off a big win here in Reno.
Our next fight is in the middleweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, he weighed in at 161 pounds. He has 2 wins with 3 losses. The 2012 Olympic quarterfinalist from Germany, Stefan Härtel. Introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks. He weighed in at 161 pounds with a record of 0 wins and 1 loss. Fighting out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, by way of the U.S. Virgin Islands, Clarence Joseph. Your judges for this bout are Bert Clemens, Pat Shalene, and Eric Cheek. The third man in the ring for this bout is Russell Mora.
Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands. God bless.
From a team standpoint, Rich, if Härtel can get this victory, we'll be all even on the evening going into the heavyweight fight if people are keeping score on the team competition. I'm curious to see, reading a little bit about Clarence Joseph and what he wants to accomplish. He's made the effort to move to Colorado and train out of Denver. So he says he's serious about making a name for himself in this sport. He's 28 years old now, so he might need to get going from that respect.
Yeah, you got to fast track it at that point.
Yep.
Comes out with a pretty good combination here to start things off. You can see right away that he's a pretty quick-handed fighter, has good technique, hands up, good defensive posture.
Good movement. And as we see in all these fights, and people that have come to know and watched the WSB over the last few years, this is the way they do it. They go out and they throw from beginning to the end, and when we get into bigger divisions, we have more chances of somebody hitting the canvas too, as we move up in the power rankings and the ring gets a little bit smaller. Scheduled for 5 as always. Joseph's in the red trunks. Härtel's in the black trunks for the German Eagles.
I want to mention, because the fight here in Nevada, it is being fought under Nevada state rules, which has some different rules than some of the other states. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. You go to 3 full rounds if you want to go to the scorecards. If a fight has to be stopped because of an accidental foul, the 3rd round has to have been completed. Then you go to the scorecards, and only the referee here can stop the fight.
Clarence, don't be backing up. Put that jab in face. Throw that jab.
Joseph working his way backwards a little bit in this round. Härtel's going to come stay right in his face.
And Stefan he is a stand-up fighter.
Yep.
This is a little more typical of what you would expect. And he's a flat-footed fighter. He doesn't get up on his toes much, but he's got pretty good power.
But you know, you're referring to the classic European style, and watching film on him and the tapes on him. He's more of what we traditionally expected from the European fighters. This is a matchup style. You know, you're going to expect more from. There's a nice right hand that got in right there. Set up with the jab, Rich. Set it up.
And right between the gloves of the Härtel. Or actually, Härtel is how he was introduced here. And that is how he told us his name was pronounced yesterday, although it certainly doesn't look like that. But who am I to tell somebody how to pronounce his name?
Yeah. Nice right hand over the top from Joseph.
I like some of the work that Joseph's doing here in this. He's kind of showing some different looks, shuffling around a little, got the jab going, trying to keep Härtel off of him. Got that pivot from left to right. And again, he's digging good left hooks to the body.
Yeah, the crowd's like it. Joseph brought some friends here from the islands.
He's probably the least known of any of the Americans fighting tonight, and he's getting a very big reaction out of them. I think Clarence may have stolen that round in that last minute.
Little flash and dash right there at the end, getting the job done.
Härtel getting a talking to over in the corner, and I think because he let Clarence Joseph take the play away from him. He had control the first half of the round, and I think Joseph ended up winning that round.
Yeah, you see working the corner now, Coach Bashir Abdullah. Take a look at some of the action here. Härtel just was a standing target is what it was.
We mentioned that he's mostly a flat-footed fighter, and Joseph began finding the range. Joseph, the shorter fighter, was able to reach out with those right hands, find the range to the head, and landed a couple of really effective, I thought, Alan, left hooks to the body.
Clarence Joseph in the red trunks. I like it when he pumps that jab out there to work his way in.
Clarence looks like he's got some versatility in there. Can do some different things and provide some different angles and some different looks. Not as much maybe as Kennedy Contende, who we will not be seeing here tonight.
Yeah, Kennedy's off the scale strange, but he gets it done. The German fighter looks a little stiff. He's just very cautious right now. And I think it's what his coach was trying to get him to get out of. Easier said than done when you've been smacked a couple of times. A nice right hand he whistled there that missed by 2 feet.
Joseph's first fight in the World Series of Boxing was against Tavares, a very good,
really good fighter.
tremendous left-hander, a lot of movement, you know. In fact, both of these guys have lost to Tavares in the past, but that's a heck of a way for him to have to start in his very first fight in the WSB.
Yeah, in season 1, Tavares was 9-2 in his first 2 seasons and was ranked number 1. And went and led his French team to the championships in China that I saw. Tavares was probably the most impressive fighter in that season 1 that I saw.
But you can see how tough that is for a debut performance. That's what Joseph had to face, and he looks much more comfortable in there tonight.
One minute left, round number 2, scheduled for 5. This is the middleweight fight. The German team needs a victory here to even it up on the evening because they're going to get a walkover. The United States is going to get a point in the light heavies. Going to have a timeout here. We take a look at looking at the tape. Yeah, I think so. We usually don't have that. These gloves have Velcro on the top, and then they tape over the top of the Velcro, not like the laces we see, in the professionals. So most of them will take a look at that. Red trunks is Clarence Joseph, and the German in the black trunks, Stefan Härtel.
Joseph's got 30 seconds to go in this round. I thought Härtel did a much better job in this round and was controlling the round, but we saw in the last round that Joseph can come on at the end.
It's always a good game plan. Now he's coming in. The body shots have been really effective. I love to see that in these young pros and in the World Series of Boxing, because in 5 rounds they tend to headhunt. They don't think about working the body, but it will pay off down the road if they stick with it. Slicked. The craftiness of Clarence Joseph's coming through in this one, and they got some concerns over there in the German corner right here.
And remember, this is a guy who just fought in the Olympics. I mean, he's had a little bit more to his credit every year. And Bashir Abdullah, who really felt, I talked to him yesterday, he goes, I think we can win this team competition. Against Germany. You saw Joseph coming on again in the last minute of the round. Now, was that one enough for him to pull out the round? I think the first round he did. I'm not so sure about the second. I think that second round going to be pretty critical in the scoring, Alan.
Stefan just landed a nice right coming out right there, lead right hand, and he stepped up his intensity quite a bit right here at the beginning of round number 3. I don't think he's going to wait around to let Joseph steal one at the end. You see his aggressive nature has come out here in round 3, covering up here and countering with the left.
Joseph is pushing forward now. He's not waiting till the last minute in this round. He's coming right out, landing good with the jabs, trying to set things up with that jab. Just to run through this resume of Härtel again, it's very impressive. In 2009, national champion of Germany. 2010, national champion of Germany, fought into the World Championships, into the final 16 in 2011, and then last year in the Olympic Games, a quarterfinalist. That's what Joseph's up against here tonight, and he is really acquitting himself well.
Yes, he is. I like the way he gives you angles and works behind his jab, and he's hard to hit. He gets in, he gets out.
Härtel was just pushing those punches.
Upstairs, downstairs work right there.
Boy, I tell you, Joseph's the best body puncher we've seen so far here tonight.
Yeah, I don't see him very often, Rich. When I do him, I like the way it works for them. If you got a guy that's standing in front of you, very tall fighter, standing very erect, straightforward, go down there and work those ribs. Why not? And there's a big difference in speed, too. Nice left hand right there. These guys working hard. They're working very hard, all these fighters tonight. Stefan almost walked right into a right hand right there.
We're a little more than halfway through this fight, and I would say that Clarence Joseph has a chance to pick up a pretty big upset win here tonight. He's got a real shot in this fight.
And if he wins it, the USA gets their first win of the year after a 2-month road trip. They fought 5 times on the road in a row, so we've got to give them credit just for surviving that.
A little home cooking never hurt anybody.
No. I mean, they've been everywhere. Ukraine, Great Britain, Germany, Kazakhstan. Well, they seem to be pleased in the red corner.
Hey, I think everybody in the room's pretty pleased.
Yeah, I like this guy. First time I've seen him.
Tell you, Bashir Abdullah, he leaps through those ropes. He's still athletic, man.
Yep. One-time Olympic coach. Coached the United States in London and in Athens in 2004. And when you're traveling as much as they did, like I mentioned all the countries I went to, I left one out in Italy, it's hard to work with your fighters. It's hard to find time to get them in the ring, to learn from a guy like Bashir. So they've had a rough go.
Now, there is one hope. There is one hope as we begin the 4th round here that this World Series of Boxing will help the United States in international competition. Just get them better prepared, because in the last few years things have kind of fallen off the cliff for the United States.
It's a whole new world, you know, when you're fighting and developing fighters and they have a chance to come into this competition. I think Rushy Warren, I saw him fight 8 fights and he felt like he would have never advanced. I want to see how he develops as a pro, the great fighter out of Cincinnati, the bantamweight that was in here last year. But he doesn't feel like he could have developed, Rich. He was in against top international competition every month.
And for those of you wondering why I would say that, and why Alan and I are speaking in this fashion, is the fact that with the World Series of Boxing, what is happening here is that these fighters, even though these are pro fights, keep their Olympic Games eligibility. And in 2016, by the way, there will be no more headgear in the Olympic Games, or fighters will not be wearing those vests anymore.
Well, the man who was the visionary for this is Dr. Chin Kuo Wu out of China, who is a huge boxing fan. I've spent a lot of time with him, and he just believes that slowly but surely these changes have to be made on the international scale because of the, as you saw in the Olympics, people just, they're not attracted to the competition anymore. The scoring system, people don't like it. And he sees this as a venue to bring this sport back to the forefront, as Clarence Joseph is putting on a clinic here, pushing his fighter back, working downstairs, right hand over the top. He's got Härtel going backwards.
I'll tell you one thing, if Clarence wins this fight, he's going to win it with body punching. He's looking a lot. You know who'd be proud tonight? A guy who lives down in Las Vegas, a recent announced member of the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame, Mike McCallum, the body snatcher, who was the epitome of body punching. And what I hope he gets an opportunity to see this, because Mike would be smiling at what he would be getting from Clarence Joseph here tonight.
Nice right hand snuck in there. Left, right there, going to the body once again. And that's one thing that no matter who's been working with me on these fights for 3 years, this is the first fighter, Rich, and you picked it up very clearly. He just ate one right there, did Joseph, but he's the first fighter that's really used that effective body punching to really slow down this German fighter tonight. He's used it more than any fighter I've seen in 3 years. Now he's got to be careful though, because he's in against a dangerous German national champion, and he has been caught a couple of times, but Joseph's still going forward here in round number 4.
What happens, of course, you get some of that success, you get a little bit reckless.
And he got caught. He got caught right there too. And maybe he's getting a little winded, but he's pressing the go button still.
He fought 3 minutes of this round, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Another shot right to the right side of the ribs for Härtel. Crowd's liking it. I didn't know you had so many people from St. Croix in Reno.
Oh yeah, it's known as St. Croix West.
A little northwest.
Now Härtel's been standing up between rounds. He's sitting down this round.
Yeah, those body punches that you mentioned. There's a nice right hand. Watch when he throws the punch, Rich, look at his movement. He gets out of the way and throws the punch.
And that just shows that Joseph has landed a few headshots as well, but his most effective weapon tonight, and with both hands on either side of the body, has been the assault to the body.
I can't believe we're going to the fifth round already. I just enjoy watching the action so much. We go to the fifth round and final round, and another very fast-paced fight. And
Well,
those of you getting a first shot to look at the man in the red trunks, Clarence Joseph, 28 years old, says it's time for him to make his mark, try to really give the professional ranks his best effort, and he's looked pretty good here in Reno tonight.
Fight could be riding a course on this round. So we'll see who has the most gas left.
Well, you can see Härtel is feeling like he's going to have to do something. I think his corners told him he's got to step it up a little bit, but he just doesn't have the combination that we've seen for Clarence Joseph tonight. I mean, he's a tough kid. He's got a great resume. But styles make fights, and he ran up against a guy that's got a lot to offer, especially with those body punches from Clarence Joseph tonight.
Now in this round, Härtel's actually been putting Joseph going backwards.
He's trying to press it, yeah.
But he's not busy with his hands. I think neither of these guys can relax. Maybe each guy is saving it up for a big finish.
136 left in the fight.
That's the first really good body punch we've seen from Härtel. Question is, has Clarence Joseph used up all of his gas? Those last two punches, he kind of pushed him out there.
Yeah, he looks a little winded. Remember that the Rich Barada pointed out, we're at altitude here too. Up near, head up the hill, you're at Lake Tahoe. Great fight fans here in Reno, Nevada. Good body punch downstairs, upstairs. That was nice. .49 seconds left in the fight.
Each guy has seemed a little careful in this round, more so than they've been at any time through the fight.
I think they're a little tired too. I mean, this is just non-stop 5 rounds of action. Härtel doing something small. Oh, now he's he turned outside and got a chance to throw a couple of headshots there. That got awkward in the corner. That was the best combination Härtel had thrown all night, just right there. Downstairs, upstairs, and threw 4 punches that were effective, 10 seconds. I think he might have run out of time.
Hey, well, 3 fights in the books here and 3 good fights.
Exactly. Yeah, the story, I think, in this one was the body shots, Rich.
Well, that's what I felt, you know, and I thought Clarence really did a good job, but in that 5th round, Härtel began to show some body punching as well. You saw him rip off that left hook to the body. And here it comes again. Left hook from long range by Härtel. Who won this one? I thought that Härtel may have taken that last round.
Yeah, he finally let his hands go a little bit there at the end, like his corner was trying to let him do, and press it forward. I'm really impressed with this young man from St. Croix in this evening. As we take you back through
Well, this was my first chance as Härtel came into the ring. As you can see, he was relaxed. Clarence Joseph getting a chance to fight at home. Smile on his face and said, let's go to battle. And they did. And Joseph began to impress us immediately. The first round had a terrific final minute. Question being, was that enough? I thought it was to win that first round. Then as the fight unfolded, two terrific fighters giving us excellent exchanges between the two. Neither guy really was letting up. Joseph, I thought, landed the much harder punches with those body shots, although Härtel in the last round, and again, you see that left hook to the body, began to throw a body attack himself.
There he is out. I was just trying to put it together. He does train in the Mile High city of Denver, too, so this wasn't probably as much of a factor.
Oh, yeah, he's coming down 1,000 feet.
He's coming down 1,000 feet to fight here in Reno. A lot of fighters like to go up in the mountains around Denver and train. A guy named Stevie Johnston comes to mind, back in the Rich and I's day. Some of the fighters we've seen come down the pike. It's time for the announcements. We got them right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards for a decision. Judge Pat Shalene scores the bout 48-47 Härtel. Judge Bert Clements scores the bout 48-47 Joseph. And Judge Eric Cheek scores the bout 48-47. Your winner by split decision, Clarence Joseph!
That was too close for comfort for, for Clarence Joseph. I thought he won the first 3 rounds. He might have lost the last 2. I guess if I looked at the judge's card, that may have been with. But that's you can see the reaction there.
I thought he lost that last round too, but I think the decision to go to Joseph is a good decision. I think you'd have to categorize that as an upset here tonight. And Joseph not only delivers a victory for himself, for the team, but a victory for the team overall tonight.
Exactly, and that's what they've been waiting for 3 long months now. And I can see the coach over there, Bashir Abdullah, he's happy.